Howdy and welcome to That's Football and welcome to El SACKICO as they're calling it. Nuno against Ollie, 6th against 7th, 15 points against 14 points, Tottenham against Manchester United. We're going to be going through the Premier League weekend games, not forgetting Arsenal versus Leicester, and can Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool keep that momentum going in relation to the top of the table, which we expect them to. But first of all, before we get into that, and loads to get into, big shout out to Free Trade who are sponsoring the show. Run the clip. The show is sponsored by Free Trade. Free Trade is a trading app that makes it simple for beginners and experts to invest in stocks, shares. We've all tried those super complicated trading apps that make it so hard to understand what's going on and that you end up leaving after just a few days. Well, I'm pleased to report that the guys at Free Trade have made their app so user-friendly, even I can make it work. And I'll let you into a little bit of a secret actually. I didn't even know how TikTok works until Seb showed me the other day. So the fact that I could work Free Trade shows how simple it is to use. One of the things I hate about most trading apps is all the hidden fees. So it's very refreshing to see a trading app that has no hidden fees at all. It's nice to finally see a stockbroker with a model that you can trust. Free Trade currently works with over 700,000 investors and has been the winner of the British Bank Awards 2 years in a row, 2019 and 2020 for best online trading platform. So if you're interested in getting involved with some stocks and shares trading, then go to freetrade.io/Mark Goldbridge. The link is in the channel description. Set up a Free Trade account and get yourself a free share worth up to £200. As with all investing, your capital may go up as well as go down, and you may not get back the same amount you put in. Capital at risk. Thank you again to Free Trade for sponsoring the show. Now let's get on with the stream. Yeah, big shout out to Free Trade. Make sure you download it through the link in the video description and give it a go. Thank you very much to them. What a week it's been. Manchester United. I mean, look, last week against Liverpool was just huge. It's just been depressed, fed up, tired of it. Really tired of it this week. I don't, like many Man United fans, I don't understand how Solskjaer's still in charge. You can check out the press conference reaction we've done on the United stand. I'm just stunned, really, absolutely stunned. But it is what it is. He will be in charge against Tottenham, and it's a weird situation because you always want your team to win. But I don't agree with El SACKICO. I think it's God knows what's going on at Manchester United, but he shouldn't even be there to be getting another I mean, if he beats Tottenham, so what? We've just lost 5-0 to Liverpool. We've just taken 1 point from 12. We're playing dreadful football. At some point, we're going to win a game. And even if we beat Tottenham, what does that mean? What does it mean? And why are Tottenham talking about sacking Nuno? I mean, you've got 15 points. You're not that far off the top four, which would be a fantastic achievement. I mean, my issue with Nuno is that Spurs never should have took him on in the first place. Just wasn't a good fit for them. And yeah, the football's going to be bad, but I could have told you that straight away. It's interesting that United should have sacked Ollie and brought Conte in, and Conte wants the job, and Spurs could have got Conte. I mean, there's two parallels here. Conte didn't take the job at Spurs because he didn't have the freedom he wanted, or the transfer budget, whatever. So Spurs don't get Conte. Maybe Man United get Conte and become successful. Spurs didn't want to pay the money for Bruno in the summer. United bought him in the January. So look, maybe Spurs can't learn their lesson. Maybe they have got parameters and they stick to those parameters. But it'll be interesting how that works out. But look, Conte or somebody should be the Manchester United manager this weekend, not Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. How do I think this will go? Look, I've done the preview on the United stand. I said it's a very difficult game to predict. I think Spurs are so difficult to predict. One thing United don't have is that comeback ability where they could be losing 2-0 at half time and then the Old Trafford crowd get them going. This is an away game, so Spurs should be looking at the Leicester game and taking advantage of a very vulnerable Manchester United, but whether Spurs can do that, I don't know. So I'm probably going to go, I do think Man United will win, but if I predict it, they won't win because I always get it wrong. So I'm going to say a draw, and you can guarantee it won't be a draw. So yeah, I am going to go for a draw 1-1, but I think that realistically I can't see United. Well, I can see United losing, but the fact that they've kept Ollie in a job, it's just the way the Glazers are. We'll win, and then they'll be like, we did the right thing. And even if we win, and I want us to win, I don't think they've done the right thing. And I think ultimately he shouldn't even be in a job. So we'll have to see what comes over the next few weeks. But with Tottenham, you know, you look at the league table, if they could get a win, it'd be massive for them. So we'll have to see what happens with that. But look, there is another game. We're doing a watch-along for it. There's more than one game. We're doing a watch-along for this game, actually, tomorrow lunchtime. Man United play Spurs at 5:30. That'll be live on the United Stand. But I am doing another watch-along tomorrow, which is at 12:30, which is Leicester against Arsenal. Fantastic 2 results for Leicester. They beat United, they smashed United, and beating Brentford's a really big result at Brentford. So 6 big points for Leicester. They've got to keep that momentum going because they'd had a bad start to the season, and even those 6 points puts them on 14 points. Doesn't get any easier with the game against Arsenal, who also are on 14 points. And 2 very similar teams here. I think I'm very excited about Leicester against Arsenal, because if Arsenal can go to Leicester and win, that's a real sign of progression. And I think Arsenal are progressing, but they'll be progressing quicker than I thought if they can go to Leicester and get a win. If Leicester can win, 17 points for them, that's progression. 3 wins from 3. I actually think that this could be a draw. I think I'm going to go for a draw, because I think a draw is a good result for both teams, but obviously the win is a fantastic result and the loss is not a good result because it stops momentum. So I think I'm going to go for a draw in that game, but we're doing a watch along for that. So I'm going to go 2-2. I think there'll be goals in it, but I'm going to go 2-2 in that one. There's loads of 3 o'clock kickoffs tomorrow as well. Burnley-Brentford's interesting because Burnley are in big trouble. I'm in big trouble, Goldbridge. I'm in big trouble. I could do with some wood. And they could do with some wood action. They could do with some clean sheets as well. But Burnley are really struggling this season. I never think Burnley will go down. I think Sean Dyche and Burnley will always find a way to stay up. But if they're going to find a way to stay up, that's the tiredness, the fatigue of the week at United there. Sorry for that. But if they're going to stay up, they're going to have to start winning games like this against Burnley. And I think that, you know, when you look at the league table, Burnley firmly in the bottom 3 at the moment with 4 points. Brentford riding high with 12. I mean, if Brentford win and United lose, they'd go above United on 15 points, leaving United in 14. So big game for Brentford, and I think Brentford are going to cause Burnley problems here. The only thing that makes me go for a Burnley win is just that old wily fox of Dyche. And I'm not saying Fox because Fox is a ginger and so is Dyche. I'm saying, you know, he's wily, he's sly, he knows how to do it. And this is the sort of game that Burnley have got to win. But it wouldn't surprise me if Brentford win. So it's a hard game to call, but I am going to go with a home win, Burnley. I'm going to go 1-0. Liverpool Brighton also at 3 o'clock. Look, this is a game that I would like to be watching, and I probably will keep an eye on it. I think Brighton have had a really good season, but Liverpool are so good at the moment. They're smashing teams. 5-0 against United, 5 against Watford. Brentford were easily dispatched by Man City and Brighton. Brighton are having a good season, but they're not Liverpool and they're not Man City. And it doesn't mean Brighton are having a bad season because they got beat comprehensively by Brighton and Man City, and they'll get beat comprehensively by Liverpool as well. So I'm going to go 3-0 to Liverpool in that one. Man City Palace. Look, Palace are a good team as well. They have been to Man City in the past and won. But Man City, Liverpool, Chelsea, they're just ominously getting into gear. And this is why United owners are stupid to stick by Ollie. Because if they think Ollie, you know, every game is going to be a bigger gap to those teams because they're going to win. And I think Man City will comfortably beat Palace, 3-0 again. Could be 4-0, 5-0. Doesn't mean Palace aren't a good team, but again, like Brighton at Liverpool, there's levels to this game. Newcastle against Chelsea. Now, again, Newcastle without a manager. They've not appointed a new manager yet, which I think is a bit weird, unless they've done it on the sly. I've not heard about that. Chelsea will have too much for Newcastle, even at St James's Park. This would be a huge result. And all 3, Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea, kicking off at 3 o'clock, by the way. So that's going to be really interesting. But I think Chelsea will win this comfortably, Newcastle. It's really weird that Chelsea, City and Liverpool are all kicking off at 3 o'clock tomorrow, by the way. None of them on the telly. So it'll be a busy... I might even do a 3 o'clock show, actually, to keep you updated. But, Chelsea will win that one against Newcastle. Again, I'll say 2-0 reservedly because they're away, but they'll win that one. And that's the great thing about Tuchel. They're so defensively well set up. They're unlikely to get caught. Newcastle would have to win that 1-0. I can't see it. And then the final 3 o'clock game is Watford against Southampton. Both teams sort of in a weird situation. Watford, obviously, they've sacked their manager. They are in that position where they sacked a manager on 7 points, but they're not in the bottom 3. Ranieri's in charge. Southampton, of course, have got 8 points. I'd fancy Watford to win this one simply because they're the home team. So I'll go Watford to win 2-1 in that one. Tottenham United we've covered. Into Sunday, none of the big teams, because it's Champions League week, isn't it? So no big teams are playing on Sunday. It's Norwich against Leeds. Both having a really bad season. I mean, Norwich, you know, they're going to go straight back down. But Leeds, 7 points. I mean, Leeds won't go down. Norwich need a win. Would this be the sort of game that Norwich would win? Is this going to be Norwich's first win of the season? You know what? I think it is. I think Norwich might get the win at home to Leeds. I'm going to go Norwich 2-1 in that one. Villa West Ham's interesting. Villa were very, very disappointing last week against Arsenal. Monday night, wasn't it? And was it Monday night? It wasn't Monday night, was it? I can't remember when it was, but it doesn't matter. They were very disappointing, and West Ham have been very strong. But because it's away from home, I think that one will be a draw, so I'm going to go 1-1. But West Ham are having a really, really good season. And there is Monday Night Football, which is Wolves against Everton. And again, I think Everton are that team that are, they've done reasonably well, Everton, but they're not, that 5-2 loss to Watford was just ridiculous, especially 2-1 up with 10 minutes to go. Ridiculous. So Everton have got to try and bounce back, and to try and bounce back against Wolves, who have improved, having lost their first 3, they're up to 13 points. They're only a point behind Everton. I think Wolves have got some momentum now, and I think Wolves have got a good team. So I'm actually going to go for Wolves to win that one 2-0. I think Everton are in a bit of a bad run at the moment, and I quite fancy Wolves to win that. So really interesting weekend, a very condensed weekend as well, because of the not internationals, thank God, the Champions League and Europe next week. As I say, having Chelsea, Man City and Liverpool all kicking off at 3 o'clock, Arsenal 12:30, Manchester United 5:30. It feels like it's all done on Saturday because the traditional top 6 are playing. There are other games to play, but they're not particularly big. So it's all eyes on the prize, all eyes on Saturday. I expect Liverpool, Man City and Chelsea all to win. I expect Manchester United and Spurs to do whatever they're going to do. Hopefully a Man United win. And I think Arsenal-Leicester is a really interesting game as well. So a big Saturday, massive Saturday. And I think that we're going to get some interesting results. El Sackico, the funny thing is, I don't think it actually is El Sackico. I think it's not. Ollie, if he can't sack Ollie for getting humiliated by Liverpool, I don't think they'll sack him for Spurs, because we're playing Atalanta on Tuesday. So I think even if United lose to Spurs, he won't get the sack. And I think I don't think Nuno will get the sack. I don't think Nuno gets the sack for losing that game either. So El Sackico doesn't actually exist. But it's going to be El Interestingo, even if that makes sense. Smash a like on the video. Make sure you subscribe. We have got the watch along tomorrow between Leicester and Arsenal, so make sure you tune in for that. I'm looking forward to watching a match, actually. Big shout out to Free Trade. Links in the video description. Make sure you check that out as well. Speak to you all soon.